Hi everyone, welcome. FPL Matt Day here, and this is my Game Week 7 latest news and some of my top tips ready for another big week of Fantasy Premier League. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Be sure to like this video and get your comments in with any questions ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Any concerns in your team, get them in the comments. I will answer them all the way up until deadline. So let's start off. Let's go through my first pointer, my first tip for this week, and that is keep an eye on all press conference news this week. We've seen there's been so many key injuries that happened in game week 6, also happened in the League Cup this week. So just keep an eye. There's been some potential injury news with Saliba, James Maddison, Botman, Wilson, Isaac, Chilwell, Bukayo, Saka. So there's some very big injuries. Some of the latest news is Saka hasn't trained this week. They're looking to see if he will train today. No, before deadline. Saliba has a knock. Martinelli is injured as well. Trossard. Botman has apparently had a bit of a knock on his knee. There's rumours that he's going to be okay, but we're not sure on Wilson. We're not sure on Isaac. So keep an eye out for all the press conferences. And then looking at Chelsea with Chilwell, looks like it's got a hamstring injury. There's a lot of managers that still have him. So keep an eye on these press conferences before deadline, before you make any transfer moves. So that's my first tip for game week 7. So let's go into my second tip and talking about injuries. And we did mention Bukayo Saka. I would consider selling him if we get the intel that he doesn't train today. I would then consider selling him. He's got no game then against Bournemouth this week, which was a good fixture, followed by Manchester City and Chelsea away. Look, he's fixture proof and he can score, but I expect a lot of people to sell out for him. His value would go down. His ownership would then go down, and you can look to bring him back for that really strong game week for Arsenal in game week 10, which is against Sheffield United, and you can bring him back whether you're going on to a wild card at that point or save some transfers, but definitely look at selling him, which then leads to my next tip, which is who to sell Saka for. And in my opinion, the best options are Jared Bowen at home to Sheffield United for West Ham. He's on absolutely massive form right now, scoring goals, fixture proof. That's a great fixture. Sheffield United losing 8-0 last week at home to Newcastle. Another one is James Maddison. His ownership's above 30% right now. I did mention before there's a slight problem with an injury, but a lot of rumours and Spurs pages are saying that he should be good to go and start on that one. And if you get him now, he's all ready for game week 8 against Luton, which is a fixture you want Maddison for. An alternative as well, if you sell Saka, is to take a punt on Decore, who did score in game week 5. He's returned in 2 games for Everton, who look like they're improving. Of late, they won in the Cup in the week against Villa. They play Luton at home. So lots to think about with Saka. So let's go on to my next tip, and we're staying on the West Ham assets theme, and they play Sheffield United at home. And if you're a manager that's on a free hit this week, because you've got so many injuries and you don't have a wild card or you don't want a wild card and you've decided to free hit, then Jared Bowen, as we spoke about before, great pick this week, potential captain option. Paqueta, who's looked really good, returned in 2 games this season. He's looked very, very good in that attacking midfield position for West Ham this season. One to look at. And then Kurt Zouma, West Ham, very strong from set pieces, very reliable defender. And then, you've got the likes of Areola as well in goal. So that's some of my favourite West Ham assets for this game week. And they're on good form as well, West Ham. So also, this is a double game week. So my next tip is to talk about the double game week and which players to target. There's been a lot of talk about Morris. Do we not sign Morris? For me, I think if you've got the opportunity to put him in your team, do it. Everton away, Burnley at home, which is a newly promoted side as well. They're the games that you expect Luton, to perform and get goals in. And from the games Luton have played this season, some of the results haven't been there. But we saw at home last week, Morris against Wolves, he scored a pen. He hit the bar or the post from a very, very good shot. Was very unlucky away at Fulham as well in the previous game week. And he's come close. And he's the 5th top scoring striker as well this season. So I think for his price with 2 games, he's a no-brainer in my opinion. Very strong pick. Currently as well, ownership right now is under 6%. I'm expecting that to increase before deadline. Do you captain him over Haaland? I'd say no, because Haaland could easily go to Wolves and get 2 or 3 goals. We know what he's like. and he was rested in the week at Newcastle. He didn't come on in that one. Another player I really like is Trafford, the goalkeeper for Burnley, £4.5 million. Newcastle away. They've got potentially plenty of injuries, which gives this opportunity of a clean sheet, which is unlikely, but it makes it higher. His save potential as well in that game. He could come away in that game with sort of 3 points, maybe 4. Then the Luton game away, obviously I spoke about Morris's potential, but if he doesn't fire and Luton don't score, he could then get a clean sheet in that game. And he could have a really good week at £4.5 million. So they're 2 of my favourite picks from the double game week. My last tip, and last tip is always about wildcard. We're only in game week 6. A lot of people still have their wildcard. A lot of people are looking to play their wildcard. So if you are looking to play your wildcard, I have done a wildcard video, so check that out in my videos. But I still think you can hold off on a wildcard. If you're like me with my team, you're still not liking much of your squad. I'd still look to hold if you've got a good starting 11 this week, or you have a starting 11, because it's still early. It's still early in the season. There's lots of injuries this week. You don't want to be putting players in with injury doubts, or players that are going to only got quick 1 week injuries that might return. Players that you then want. So I think if you've got an opportunity to hold on to it, just hold on to it a little bit more. There's more fixture swings coming for Manchester United. They might hit form. There's good fixture swings for Spurs, for Liverpool. So I'd still hold off. I'm liking that game week 10 time personally. But at the same time, do what is best for your team. So there you have it. That is all my tips going into game week 7. I'm really excited for another big game week ahead. Very likely going to have a live deadline stream tomorrow. So stay tuned on the channel for that. Stay tuned for plenty more shorts to come before deadline as well. Go check them out. Give the channel a subscribe if you're new here. Like this video. As I mentioned before, get all your comments in ahead. So let's leave it there. Thanks everyone that's tuned in. I'm FPL Matt Day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.